Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We welcome you, whatever time and wherever in the world you are listening. We are pleased you have found us. You are now listening to Inside the Bunghole, a podcast taking you on a journey through wine. Together, we will learn more about this wonderful elixir of life. So raise your glass to welcome your hosts and partners in wine, Pam and James. You are now inside the bunghole.
Hello there, everybody. It's another fun edition of Inside the Bunghole, a journey through wine with Pam and James.
This is a different one, by the way.
Yeah, we had a fun time.
We took a little field trip. We went to a wine tasting food fest kind of thing. You know, you always see it in your town where you're at, if you're lucky enough. And just so that happens that Palm Springs had their second annual food and wine festival.
We caught up with some really fun people. Had a great time. It was a beautiful weather. The event was amazing. Jeff Hocker and Lisa Weary put it on.
Yes.
They did a great job.
I think there'll be a third.
I'm sure there will be.
And a fourth.
And a fifth.
So we're going to catch up right now with Michael Green. Who's Michael Green, Pam?
Michael Green, first and foremost, was the wine director for the Palm Springs Food and Wine. And he's actually very, very well known for as a TV personality. He's been on the Food Network Today show. He's spoken at more than 50 food and wine festivals around the world.
And at sea. He even does like an ocean cruise.
I want to go on that cruise.
That's a good one. But he's very sought after. So let's go out there and talk to Michael Green.
I started selling wine illegally at the age of 6. My dad needed money to pay for college when he was a student in New York City, and he started working as a stock boy at the oldest wine shop in America. He worked there for 40 years, and I used to go to work with my dad, not because I thought I was going to enter this crazy industry. I just wanted to be with my dad. And I sold wine throughout my teenage years and made extra money for college. And then I realized after an epiphany moment traveling through the vineyards of Europe that while I didn't know the path, I was going to carve out a career connecting people with wine.
So that, from a familial, I wanted to hang out with my dad.
Yep.
And you have traveled the world. How did you start in making a name for yourself? I mean, you are very, very well known.
Well, I appreciate that. The things happened to me really when I was around 25, 26, when the Food Network was really just taking off, and I was on a lot of the shows, and then a really famous magazine, Gourmet Magazine, tapped me to be their wine consultant, and I kept that engagement for 19 years until sadly after 80 years the magazine folded.
Right.
But that really propelled what I do, and now I create and host food, drink, and travel experiences for people around the world.
How do I get your job?
You can stalk me, michaelgreen.com.
How do you like to educate? Because I noticed you set up a little wine
Seminar.
A little seminar, and you would stop the winemaker and just because they do talk wine talks, and you ask everyone what does that mean, and so explain.
It's really important to me that wine doesn't alienate anyone because of a term, because of a word they don't understand. So I respectfully stop a winemaker or someone who's using a wine term like staves or malolactic fermentation or Brix level or chaptalization, etc., 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 and try to break it down. But at the end of the day, wine is just fermented grape juice with an attitude.
Wow.
A good attitude.
I don't know if anyone, obviously you can't see into the podcast, but he is decked out in the most colorful clothes. Do you lay your clothes out? I mean,
I do.
Your tennis shoes
like
are like a ring.
It's like, I appreciate that. It's like animals. It's very easy to dress me. I choose a color, and then generally it's from head to toe in that. But you know something? It was really a blessing when the Palm Springs Food and Wine Festival approached me to do some work with them because I adore Palm Springs, and really the food and wine scene really continues to have a renaissance. It's really exciting, and I'm blessed to be part of it, and frankly, you can't choose a bigger, better setting. We're sort of talking here amidst tents, the mountains in the background.
It's what, 75,
It's
78
75 degrees.
If you're standing in the sun, it's a lot hotter.
Exactly. But it's a dry heat.
beautiful-
It's a dry heat.
And amazing food to pair with amazing wine,
Yep.
with amazing hosts to
Well, thank
tell
you.
us and educate us.
And the other thing is that one of the things that makes this festival special is that most of the wines being served here are really from boutique, small, family-owned vineyards. And I think that's one of the things that differentiates this festival from many other festivals around the country.
On that note, let me ask you this: do you find because obviously you know what you're going to get when you open a Mayomi, you know what you're going to get, but doesn't that somehow? I mean, that's what I love about the boutique wineries.
Yeah.
Is every year it's dependent on the terroir, it's dependent on the weather, it's dependent.
It's a snapshot in time. It's a snapshot in a vintage year, and each vintage year is different. And especially when you have a boutique winery that's not generally going to over manipulate the wines, you have something that's very special and unique to that place and that time.
Yeah. That's what I love about our podcast and what we do, is that we're able to talk to those people and find out their passions and why they're doing this. Now, what is your education on? Like, did you do any somm training?
I did some training. Now I train sommeliers.
Yeah.
Now I train sommeliers. Right. But yeah, I mean, also what you guys are doing with your podcast, it's really amazing, informing people about a beverage that I'm so passionate about.
Yeah.
We try to bring it down to the normal folk.
Nice.
We don't want any snooty. You know,
because
we don't mind the snooties.
you take the snobbery out of it. You really do. You bring it down to a level where you want everyone to enjoy it. You go, is anyone here know what they're talking about? Does anyone here? And it's great.
You
give
include
a
the whole
it's nice.
crowd.
Very
Awesome.
good. Very good. You do good what you do.
Well, thank you.
You're good. That's probably why you're successful.
So what is your travel like? Are you busy or what's?
It's a busy time. I've got a contract with a cruise line, and they ship me out to sea now between 2 and 3 months a year.
We can come. We can
Carry
come.
suitcases. So are they like a booze education cruise kind of
No,
thing?
they're not. Some of them are, some of them aren't. But basically, I'm doing wine talks and food and wine pairing dinners and other things throughout the voyage.
Sweet.
And
gig.
what cruise line?
Celebrity.
And it Michael Green Cruise. What's the name of the? If anybody's interested in booking,
They can go to my website, michaelgreen.com.
michaelgreen.com.
If
people.
you have, this is the man to be educated by. I'm telling you.
And he does take the snobbery out of it
He does.
altogether.
He
It's
does.
not like
Thank you, guys.
What is the best thing about wine? What do you say? The question is, what is the best thing about?
I can't separate a glass of wine from the people that I shared it with. And for me, wine is about connecting with other people.
That's true.
Nice.
I feel that way.
And we've been feeling that way. Like, we can't take the wine away from the story of the people who grew it and but shared it.
And
like
and there's times we buy a bottle of wine and we're always like, oh, let's just wait till Patrick shows up and we'll open it with him, and because we want to share it with a certain person. So, bingo, you nailed it.
Well, you did. You got the right answer.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for sitting down with us for
Thank
just
you
a
for
few
attending the
minutes.
seminars.
And we'll catch up with you later.
Sounds good.
Thank
And
you.
we are out.
And we are out.
Well, Michael Green, he's fascinating.
He is. I would love to have him on speed dial.
I would love to have him living in my wine cellar if I had a wine cellar.
Yes, yes. And I know that he talked about small wineries that are out here, which is kind of unique. So tell me, you're going to go catch up with Elizabeth, right?
Yes, from Tele, which is in a new kind of wine region in San Luis Obispo. And they do some farming and some viticulture.
Wine. Yeah. Okay.
So let's go take a quick chat with her.
Yeah.
Hey, so I'm here at the Calais booth I'm talking to Elizabeth over at the Palm Springs Food and Wine Festival. Elizabeth, tell me a little bit about why you participate in these wine festivals.
I participate in these because it's a great way for people to learn about my family's business, and it's a great way for me to advocate for people buying from family wineries, and it's a great way to meet new people and enjoy sunshine and great wine.
So how important is it for people to know that your wine is family owned and operated, and how long has that been the case?
So I'm part of the fourth generation of my family's business, and shopping from family-owned and small businesses is really important, and it's easy to buy wine from bigger, cheaper wineries, but keeping us small guys around is really helpful and important, so I hope that you support us. We're in a very biodiverse area. We're a diversified family farming operation, so not like some of the other wine growing regions in California. The vineyards are on the rolling hills, and then on the flatlands are where our vegetable fields are. So they're all really intermixed, and my dad likes to say what grows together goes together. So we have some great avocados that pair really well with our Chardonnay.
And you guys, this is kind of a new region, right? This AVA.
Yeah, so the San Luis Obispo Coast is a newer AVA. It was approved in 2022. And in that research that they had to do to get it approved, they found that we are the coolest wine growing region in California, which is great for the style of Chardonnay and Pinot Noir that we like to make. We like Burgundian style. That's what Eric, our winemaker, and my dad, Brian, enjoy. So that's the kind of wine they try and make.
Well, you've had a great wine here. People are interested in your wines. And I would love to come up and talk to you guys for the full podcast.
I would love that. Thank you so much.
Take care.
Well, we'll have to take a little field trip up to San Luis Obispo and see what's going on.
Yes, she poured they're very nice wines.
Yes.
So let's take a break. We'll be right back after this.
If you want to know more about Inside the Bunghole, join us on all our social media platforms. You can get a revisit and view all the latest posts, giveaways, and information on this podcast. Simply search Inside the Bunghole on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment. We would love to hear from you. Or you can email us at insidethebunghole@gmail.com. Thanks for tuning in, and visit our website at insidethebunghole.buzzsprout.com, where you can always find our latest podcast and past episodes. Cheers!
Another vineyard we caught up with was Truchard Vineyards, and we spoke with Anthony, who basically, it's a family-owned vineyard, and when his father planted grapes in the Carneros area, everyone thought he was kind of crazy. But
yeah, that was back in 1974. It's like, good luck, but he's
he
laughing.
had good luck.
Yeah, he's laughing now, man.
We're with Anthony from Truchard. You tell me. Truchard?
Truchard, that's right. Truchard Vineyards, yeah.
Vineyards. Tell me a little bit about where you are.
All right. So this is our first time here at the festival, but we've been growing grapes for about 50 years in Napa Valley. We're in the southern portion of Napa Valley. The area is known as Carneros, and it's a little cooler. Great area for Chardonnay and Pinot Noir, and we get a lot of that influence off the bay. So all that cold fog that rolls into San Francisco, we get the benefit of that as well.
Now, I saw you at a wine tasting here. It was like a lecture. Was it your dad or grandfather that took a gamble on planting in that area?
That was my father back in 1974 when everybody thought he was crazy to plant grapes down in the Carneros area. Everybody told him it was going to be too cool and the grapes wouldn't fully ripen. He took a risk and planted 20 acres, and now we have about 400 acres all in that area.
And there must be other winemakers now following suit.
Yes, now when we got out there was maybe one or two other crazy people out there, but now it's pretty much vineyards from Napa to the Bay.
And crawling inside your dad's mind, what do you think made him gamble it and put a lot of savings into it?
He always just thought that land was a good investment. My family had come from France in the 1800s. We tried to start a winery in Houston, Texas in 1888 and failed miserably. And so maybe it was just kind of that ambition of trying to restart the family tradition.
Wow. And I know it's a family business. Tell me about your wife's involvement.
So yeah, my wife comes and helps and does some marketing events with us. And she's been a great asset.
Was she in the wine biz, or she learned as she dated you, or how long? Was she a beer drinker?
No, she was definitely a wine drinker when we met. She is living in Miami, Florida, and she's an attorney by profession. And we had met at a wine tasting back at the winery 15 years ago. And so when she first came to Napa, she worked at a couple other wineries. And
now I love your label, the wine label, the art. Who says yay or nay on that, or how does that work?
Well, it's always been kind of a tradition from the very first vintage. I came back to the winery about 20 years ago, but we've been making wine for 35 years ago. So our first label in 1989 was Silhouette of the Hills, and we wanted to use the earth colors and the earth tones to really showcase the terroir and what's special about what we're doing. So Chuck Hennis came up with that original design, and then about 10 years ago, he kind of refreshed it and gave it a little bit more modern approach, but we always wanted to keep that connection back to the land.
So you were able to go back to Chuck, and he's like, hey, let's revamp it.
Yeah, exactly.
And is he an artist and all around, or just...
Yeah, he is. He's one of the few, or maybe not few label designers, but he's a label designer that was really an artist first and then got into label design.
And you guys just express what you want, and he gets that, and then...
Yeah, no, he's more of the leader in that, and we kind of say, okay, well, this is something we like, let's keep going down that path.
Well, the whole package is wonderful. And how are you happy with your portfolio and what's out there growing and what you're making?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're one of the old kind of legacy wineries, so we know we were doing right, and we got a lot of fans that have been following us for the last 35 years.
Well, thank you for coming out here and being on Inside the Bunghole.
Well, Anthony's dad was basically like the grandfather of Carneros wines.
Yeah, visionary. If you build it, it will grow. I don't know, something like that.
And then, should we do a quick break before we go on to Chris Hussey?
Yeah, let's do a quick break and come back because you do not want to miss this interview. OLG. And I'll explain what that is after the break.
If you want to know more about Inside the Bunghole, join us on all our social media platforms. You can get a revisit and view all the latest posts, giveaways, and information on this podcast. Simply search Inside the Bunghole on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment. We would love to hear from you. Or you can email us at insidethebunghole@gmail.com. Thanks for tuning in, and visit our website at insidethebunghole.buzzsprout.com, where you can always find our latest podcast and past episodes. Cheers!
We're back, and we have even more stories to tell.
That's correct. This is a good one.
Yes. What does OLG mean, James?
Our Lady of Guadalupe. Chris Hussey, who we caught up with, he's... was basically taken under the wings by Dave Finney, who was the founder of Prisoner. And Chris was explaining how Dave, he always wanted to actually, he always sourced his grapes, but this time he's like, I want to grow my own and make, do the whole turn of the clock. And he did. And this is the wine. It's just now out there. And it's Lady of Guadalupe, and a lot of people think, oh, that's the wine region in Mexico and all that, because that's what I thought it was, but no.
And Chris Hussey worked for the founder of Prisoner?
Yes.
But Chris wanted to make his own wine.
No, Dave Finney, who makes his wine, the Prisoner and a lot of other ones. Chris was just kind of interning for a while, and now he's kind of leaning on Chris pretty hard with Lady of Guadalupe wine. Chris, you're going to hear about one day. I'm telling you, man, he's going to break out on his own one day. So let's check it out.
Yeah.
Holy smokes. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Where are we?
We're at the beautiful Palm Springs Food and Wine Festival. It's a beautiful day.
That is correct. And I came over to your booth, and at first I saw Our Lady Guadalupe because I banged my knees and prayed to her. One, I've been to Guadalupe in Mexico. There's a wine scene.
Yeah.
And I was like, who are these guys? So when I came there, I overheard something about growing grapes. You're almost new to the biz and all. Set me straight.
Yeah.
What is going down?
For sure.
Your name, and then go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm Chris Hussey. I'm the assistant winemaker for Our Lady of Guadalupe, which is a brand new vineyard and estate wine brand by winemaker Dave Finney, who I'm sure many of your listeners know is the founder of The Prisoner, founder of Orange Swift Cellars, and the current winemaker for Orange Swift Cellars. And so after years and years, almost decades of purchasing grapes from other growers all over California, he decided to plant his own vineyard and make wine from it. And this is the first ever time that he is making wine from a vineyard that he actually owns and farms.
Some grape to bottle.
Exactly.
That's it. He wants whole control.
It's exactly right. And we have this saying in our company that 95% of our winemaking is done in the vineyard. And finally, now that we have full control in the vineyard, we're able to actually make a lot of the things that other growers who we purchased grapes from in the past wouldn't do. We can do those things ourselves.
Right. And I imagine him and his winemaking crew, they're up to snuff on all that. They get it,
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no, we focus on trying to grow the best grapes possible. And so that when those grapes arrive in the winery for me to start making the wines from, it's actually a pretty easy endeavor. I just throw them into a tank and they're off to the races, and we make some really, really great wines. You can't make great wine out of good grapes. You can only make great wine out of great grapes.
Right. Now let me ask you, is he producing his wine now, or is it you've been?
Yeah, so we produce our wines at a
with the grape that he's.
Yeah, so we basically sell half of our the grapes that we grow to some other local wineries in the Santa Barbara region and some high-end names that you may know of up in the Napa-Sonoma area. And then we keep the other half to make OLG, which is short for Our Lady of Guadalupe, which is our estate wines. And that's what I was pouring here this weekend. We make two wines, our OLG Pinot Noir and our OLG Chardonnay. The Chardonnay is very, very limited. We only have 5 acres out of 133 acres of vines planted to Chardonnay. The rest is all Pinot Noir.
Right.
And we're honestly kicking ourselves a little bit for not planting more Chardonnay.
Now, how did you get into business?
Me personally?
Of all, you're very educated, my friend.
Thank
How'd you get into it?
I graduated from UC Berkeley with a bachelor's degree in international development, which has nothing to do with winemaking. And I really wanted to get out of the whole academia world and just start working with my hands. And so I applied for an internship at Orange Swift Cellars, which Dave was running and in charge of and was the founder of. And I got an internship with them in 2015 as a harvest intern, and basically got to see all of the crazy vineyards he was sourcing grapes from. And after that internship ended, actually before it ended, he asked me if I'd be, interested in becoming part of his permanent team. I said yes, absolutely, and that I wanted to be a winemaker. And he said, get ready. I'm going to teach you everything you need to know. And so he's been training me for the past, 8-9 years to become a winemaker for him. And so when OLG started to have fruit and we had our first harvest, he asked me to kind of manage the day-to-day winemaking.
And I have to say, OMG, so exciting.
How would they get in touch with you, or what would be a good way? Do they need to become a member? Tell me how.
In your wine membership?
Yeah. So our website is www.ourladyofguadalupe.com. Sign up for our mailing list or email info@ourladyofguadalupe.com. I get those emails right into my inbox. So any questions, I can answer them. Our mailing list is the best way to keep in touch with all new plans. For example, Dave is doing this big event where he's pouring our wines along with some other wines that he's made in Los Olivos. So if you jump onto that mailing list, you can get in touch with us and see how you get into that.
And you are able to ship in California? You can.
Yes. Yeah. We ship all over California. You purchase 6 bottles or more, you can get free shipping, which, as we all know, shipping is super expensive.
Super dumb.
Wow. Super expensive. We're also distributed across the country. So 35 states. We're also exporting to 4 different countries. We're in the UK, Switzerland, Germany, South Korea. We're opening up new countries.
Hello to our UK listeners. We have a lot of people from the UK.
Wonderful.
Yeah, drinking wine.
That's great.
Wild.
So they're a big wine culture.
Yes, it's growing. Growing. Side question.
Yeah.
Mom and dad wine drinkers?
My parents?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
My parents got me hooked. There's a little photo of me as a baby with not a baby. I was maybe 3 or 4, holding a Magnum, and the Magnum is like, almost the size of me and all that.
I figured that out. I was just wondering. It's like if you no, my mom and dad just drank beer.
No, I was around wine my whole life.
Good.
I get it.
I was blessed. Like my parents really were able to take me and my sisters to some different wine growing regions here in California, but also in France and Italy. So yeah,
Mexico, Lady Guadalupe.
Oh yeah.
Have you been?
I've not. That is on my list. I know.
On you. The food scene.
Yeah.
So wine is get off.
Wait, hold on. I got a really cool tidbit about the Valle de Guadalupe, because there is a connection between the Valle de Guadalupe and Our Lady of Guadalupe vineyard. So when we were planting our vineyard, we realized that while we had a huge amount of water reservoir beneath us, the water was super salty, very high in salinity, because we're so close to the ocean. We're 9 miles from the ocean. We have a lot of diatomaceous earth, which means we were under the water, at some point in history. Because that water is so salty, if we were going to irrigate our vines, our super young vines, our newly planted vines with that salty water, we would have had an issue. We would be potentially poisoning our young vines.
Right.
So Amy, our director of vineyard operations, went down to the Valle de Guadalupe, where they also have salty water problems. You can taste it in the wines, right?
Yes,
Sometimes.
Yeah.
So found an organic veggie farmer who was treating their groundwater with reverse osmosis and irrigating their crops with it. We are the first vineyard on the West Coast that has a reverse osmosis machine on our property that we use, and we filter our groundwater. We use 75% filtered groundwater with 25% regular groundwater, that salty groundwater. We mix it together, and that's what we use to irrigate our vines. So our vines
That is a mind freak.
So we learned from the Valle de Guadalupe quite a number of and very important thing for us.
Yes.
Cool little tidbit.
Respect.
Nice.
Drop the mic. Drop the mic.
Thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to joining you on your home turf.
Yeah, cheers to that.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah,
Cheers.
cheers.
Our Lady of Guadalupe.
Yes, Our Lady Guadalupe.
A little bit religious, but that makes drinking wine just that much more acceptable.
Yes, and I would love to do a whole podcast and meet them and
I would love to too, because I love the Prisoner brand of wines.
yep. And this is a spectacular wine. It was very good.
Very good. Then you went and you hooked up with Robert Perkins. Tell me
Yeah.
a little bit about him.
Awesome guy. Awesome. He has a wine he has called Skylark, and he's like a Renaissance artist, restaurant business. But the cool thing I like about Robert is he asked me. He goes, "Man, I sometimes I was doing stuff I didn't know what to do. I couldn't, And he goes, I just reached out to the wine community, and he goes, they're awesome. They stepped to the plate. They helped me out. He knows how to ask for help.
Well, and the wine community, as I have noticed,
Come a little closer to the mic, Pam. What do you know about the wine community?
it just that they always seem to be willing to help.
They are, yeah.
There's not a lot of, there may be ego, but they certainly are there for each other.
I agree.
So let's listen to what Perkins has to say.
My name is Robert Perkins. I'm one half of Skylark Wine Company. John Lancaster and I met while working as wine directors of Boulevard Restaurant in San Francisco. I was hired as his assistant back in 1999. Knew that I would come home to Christine and say, I love John. He is the greatest person. We formed a partnership and business together back in 2005 with the sole idea of doing one barrel. One barrel turned into 14. 14 has now been about 5,000 cases annually. Working with Rhone varietals from Mendocino primarily, but a little bit from Sonoma as well.
And this just happened overnight, right?
I brought in a mock bottle. There was a negotiation idea that I wanted to pass by him, and I had this image of a skylark bird that I wanted to put on the bottle. The bird went away, but the idea kept growing.
Right.
And at that point, we knew a lot of great people in the valley, and one of them was Josh Krupp from the Krupp family. And he said, no, you guys can do it. I'm going to help you do your first. This will be a bottling. It'll be a negociant. We'll source barrels, and you can make your blend. And it was just an extension of what we did as sommeliers.
Because before you started this, what were you doing?
So I've been in the restaurant industry since I was 14. So I've been from dishwasher to waiter to sommelier for 15 years at Boulevard. Prior to that, I was part of a little restaurant in Santa Rosa on Guerneville Road, hard to Russian River. And any given night, we would have Tom Dalinger, Bert Williams, we'd have Fred Shear, and then they would need help. They would need help bottling. They would need help moving hoses. And so my grunt years were working in places like with Sean Thackeray and Bolinas and working with Doug Knoll during bottling. And
in the community.
Oh, it's a wonderful
The
community.
community coming together and helping each other.
Yeah, because I know you were mentioning to me, like, someone would punch your wine down when you couldn't make it.
Oh, there definitely.
It was on your mind. Someone punch it.
A number of angels on our shoulder is certainly, and then the from Bob Lindquist from Coupe Wines, who's been a dear friend, to Alex McGregor of Saracena, and they're great mentors, and not afraid to, like, when we don't know it all, and when we don't know, you ask the right people, and we've gone through a lot of Mother Nature issues in the last 20 years.
Don't smart people ask. You know what I mean?
Smart people ask.
Help. Yeah, help me. I don't know.
Smart people share.
Yep.
Yeah, smart people share.
Definitely.
Share.
And it's not a competition. It's everyone wants to help each other out and do the right thing. And we get excited about wine. We get excited what we can produce.
When you look at your journey of you, chef, small, the whole, you must have learned along the way. And was it a good?
I'm still learning. No, without a doubt. I'm everything is there's challenges along the way. People go, how'd you getting in the business was quite fun. Even learning the desk work side, even from the romantic side of crushing grapes. There's so many layers that.
And now, how do listeners get your wine club, find it? What have you?
We're globally. Skylarkwine.com. We're just a two-man operation. It's John and I answering the emails, answering the phone, packing the boxes. So we're quite simple. But we have 6 SKUs. So we range from rosés to real dry white, food-friendly whites, to reds that can stand up to a protein, that have a tannin and acid behind them.
God bless. So you guys that's interesting, man. Listen to this.
Now listen.
They are bottling, they get up, they're shipping the stuff out. Is that not all day or a few times, and you got phones to answer?
It's like we're many hats. Yeah.
So yeah, it sounds like that. That's what I'm saying. We're going to go visit him.
You're never going to retire.
Yeah.
Somebody asked me that. I go, what is the end game? I go, it's death.
Exactly.
Because you always have wine in barrel that are 4 years out.
Yeah.
Our reds will sit in barrel for 2 years and bottle for 2 years before you taste it.
Wow.
And so it's a passion.
Let me get back to that, because this is a listener, this is a
audio
educational part. People are tasting, after you bottle them, people are corking a bottle and going, yeah, it's still good, it's great, getting better. How does that go after it gets into the bottle?
The response or if
I'm a winemaker,
I pushed it, it's done, but 2 years is going to be good. Right now,
well, that's why we chose for the extended élevage. We want to follow the suits of those the famous houses in Châteauneuf-du-Pape and the Southern Rhone that do extend élevage to, like, say, 36 months in barrel. They want to, when it hits your list, it's ready to drink. It's not something. And also, we're thinking about restaurants. We're sommelier geeks that are thinking about what protein is that going to be served with.
What do they want?
What do they want? But that's true. But I'm just wondering, if you go, okay, that's going to be really good in 5 years. Do you taste in 2 years, 3 years?
Yeah, are you 1 behind, 2 behind?
We're always looking back and the research and development of what we've produced, and we have a handful of customers that continue to come back for our library wines. And I'm scrambling to go through the cellars to see if I can come up with something that those these are 10, 15-year-old wines that are still selling today and being drunk today.
Well, I can't wait till you pull a bottle of wine out for Pam and I.
I love it. No.
It was nice meeting you.
Honor to meet you, fellow.
You were
Great being
you
a
were
neighbor.
a
They
good
were
neighbor.
neighbors.
Good neighbor.
They were neighbors.
The guy's been around. Yep, and your wife's a doll too, by the way.
Take
you
care.
so much.
Awesome.
Shit. Oh, hug.
Awesome.
Well, it was a long day.
Yes.
We talked to Robert Perkins, the Renaissance man, the
By the-
man who knows how to ask for help.
Next time I'm in the Bay Area, I want to hang with him.
Oh, good.
I want to hang with him.
Let's do it.
My kind of people.
Well, and then we went to one more guy.
Yeah, Mike Reynolds, who I don't know if I was getting punchier or the wine was catching up with me, but I started my interview off with Mike Reynolds, and I thought it was Craig Hall, the owner.
The actual winemaker.
Right. So, however, Mike is the president of Hall Wines, but he had some exciting news because they opened a wine tasting bar.
A tasting room here
Yeah.
in downtown Palm Springs. If I'm not mistaken, I think Ashley, my daughter, is a wine member.
Is that correct?
I believe so.
Well, it's adjacent to the Thompson Hotel, and so you could just be right here in the Palm Springs area and have.
Taste some wonderful wines. There's a bunch of wonderful wines out here locally.
So let's catch up where I butcher this interview.
Good.
Okay, I am here at the beautiful Palm Springs Food and Wine Festival with Craig. Mike, I'm sorry.
You'll start again?
Yep. With Mike.
I've done this before, right?
With Mike from Hall Wineries.
Hall Wines, yes.
Tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got into the position over at Hall's.
So I have been making wine for my entire adult life. My first job was at a winery called Schramsberg, where I was the winemaker and general manager. And in 2002, I met Craig and Catherine Hall, and we decided to start a winery from scratch. And that's what we've been doing for the last 22 years. Today we have 3 brands that we are offering. Hall Cabernet was the first brand. Hall is based Cabernet Sauvignons from the Napa Valley. Our second brand is called Walt, which we source the best Pinot Noir vineyards from Santa Barbara to Oregon across 1,000 miles. So really looking for the very best microclimates to grow Pinot Noir and Chardonnay. And our third brand is called Baca, where we get Zinfandel, heritage Zinfandel vineyards from all over the state and make wonderful Zinfandels that are characteristic of the places where they're grown. And we just opened a new tasting room in downtown Palm Springs, adjacent to the Thompson Hotel, and we opened yesterday. So we hope everybody comes to see us, and we're pouring some great wines, and it's a beautiful space, and we love Palm Springs.
Beautiful. And tell me about the book that Craig wrote with his wife.
So Craig and Kathy wrote a book. It, I think, came out in 2015 or 2016, and it was really about their journey in terms of starting a winery and a wine brand. And I know something about that wine brands and wine businesses don't start overnight. It's a long effort. It starts with the land, the winemaking, and the sales and production of it. It's a great deal of fun, but it is a long-term commitment when you do it.
Does the book talk also about modern technology in winery, and do you embrace that? And tell me how that goes.
Of course, yes. And we are fortunate that we built 2 brand new state-of-the-art wineries in the last 20 years that we make wine in. But it's a combination of new technology, but it's simultaneously embracing the old world techniques that made wine great. So we try to give a nod to both the old world techniques as well as the incorporation of new technology to make that better.
Well, thank you for chatting with us.
No worries. We're glad to be here, and come see us at the tasting room.
Well, my wine-loving friends, we have come to the end of another show.
Yeah, gonna pack the station wagon, get out of here.
And next year, if you have the opportunity to be in Palm Springs in November, get tickets to the Palm Springs Food and Wine Fest. It's a great event. They know how to do it.
And it's growing. It's growing like a grape. And speaking of growing like a grape, we're growing with the viewers, but want to hear from some of them. Please drop us a line. Let us know how we're doing or what you would like to hear. And
if you have any recommendations.
Recommendations, absolutely. So that's about it for me, Pam.
Okay, fine. You can email us at insidethebunghole@gmail.com with any comments, criticism, love, whatever you want to give.
We could take it. We're like a skin of a merlot.
There you go. Okay, until next time.
Bye-bye.
If you want to know more about Inside the Bunghole, join us on all our social media platforms. You can get a revisit and view all the latest posts, giveaways, and information on this podcast. Simply search Inside the Bunghole on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment. We would love to hear from you. Or you can email us at insidethebunghole@gmail.com. Thanks for tuning in, and visit our website at insidethebunghole.buzzsprout.com, where you can always find our latest podcast and past episodes. Cheers!